Hi, McCartney fans, and welcome to episode 116 of Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast. We are a Paul McCartney talk show mainly dealing with the solo career of the one and only Paul McCartney. I'm one of your two co-hosts, Tom Hunyadi, and you may know me from my other show, Talk More Talk, a solo Beatles video cast. And as always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, my backwards traveler. He is the one and only Andy Nichols. Andy, what is going on?
Good, Tom. Just hanging in here on another night, cold night in January, and
Okay,
happy
okay.
and healthy, and hope you are too.
Thank you very much for that. I see the record collection behind you is looking healthy.
Always is. Yeah, once a week, I'll take my little
Yeah,
Saturday stroll and go like
right.
everybody else out in this world and go buy
Yeah,
records.
records. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I've been picking up a couple lately too. I think the waiting on a couple more McCartney 3 vinyls here. I know we got the McCartney 3 Blue coming from the UK here soon.
Yeah,
So hopefully we'll be.
Japanese
Yeah,
CD.
the
Yes,
Japanese CD. I ordered that last
you did good,
two or 3 days ago. So
and you got all your dice sets. I saw.
yeah. So I got the three dice set up. I got the three dice and then the white CD. So I'll have that all set up. So I think I'm good on the CDs now. I probably will get a Coke bottle, color, vinyl, and then I think that'll do it. If I see an affordable Barnes and Nobles, blue, maybe I'll pick that up as well.
Yeah.
But other than that, because I think it is sold out. I don't think they're selling that at stores anymore.
Oh, they're
Or
not.
I don't think they no, I don't think they sold them at stores. Period. I think
Oh,
they
strictly an
sold them
online.
all. Yeah, I think they sold them all online. I could be wrong on that, but I haven't been in the Barnes and Nobles for a while. The day it did come out, I'm sure we'll touch upon this again next week when we have when our guest on talking about McCartney 3 collecting. I called Barnes and Nobles up and asked them if they were going to get the blue, and they said the color, and they said yeah. So they put one on hold for me, so I went there, and it ended up being the black vinyl. So I don't know if they ever got any blue to keep in stock at stores, or if it was just online only. So
Yeah. And then in the news department, and this was a few weeks ago now, but
yeah.
Jerry Marsden passed away.
Yes, yeah, Jerry. That was sad. I mean, that's another link to the Beatles that is unfortunately gone now. I'm sure he had a ton of stories to tell.
Oh,
I know he did a few Fest for Beatle fans throughout the last couple decades. Kit, my co-host from Talk More Talk, she talked about meeting him a few years back at the Chicago Fest, so that was really cool. But some really good. I think he was a pretty good singer. Jerry and the Pacemakers was very popular. I guess you could call them a friendly rivals of the Beatles because I mean they came out they came out blazing with three number ones in a row.
they
In
certainly
the UK.
did. You know, and George Martin was right. How do you do it? Was
Yeah,
was it
was
was
the
a hit,
number one. That was their first number one. Yeah,
and their version of it is way better than the Beatles version.
right. You think so?
I think Jerry's version has much. The Beatles version on Anthology, they just did not want to do that song. You could tell.
Right, right.
But their version of it is tremendous. How do you do it?
Yeah,
And it's of course "You'll Never Walk Alone" from
right,
Carousel being like
mhm,
the anthem of Liverpool.
right, right,
Um, just a beacon of Merseyside.
right.
Has burned out, and just a true champion of the city.
Mm,
One who
okay.
was always loyal to Liverpool through and through his whole life.
Mm,
Not that the Beatles weren't, and
right,
the Beatles were very, very unfashionable in Liverpool for many, many, many years, and the city council really only began honoring them and recognizing them, and only after John passed. So, but Jerry was always there through and through.
mm, cool.
With his loyalty, and it's just obviously having lived there and knowing a lot of people that have met him and saw him once briefly, occasionally from a distance, but just a great guy and just a great band. And
Right.
one of the first times I think a lot of people in this country probably saw him is if you ever saw the 1982 film,
Right,
The
right, right.
Complete Beatles. he's
Right.
really on there. And I think outside of like knowing, Ferry Cross the Mersey, it's
Right.
probably how a lot of people first saw Jerry Marsden speak.
Absolutely. That was my
That's
introduction
the
to
introduction.
that's my introduction to Jerry.
That's
Absolutely. I
and
mean,
really that's really that film
right.
was an introduction really
Oh,
uh, for lots of people.
that was my anthology in the mid to late 80s.
It
You
was a
know.
fantastic film,
Yeah.
and it holds up well because it was one that didn't have the Beatles stamp on it. They weren't involved with
Mhm.
it, so
Right.
it had somebody else to and a lot of people feel that listen, the anthology is the canon because it's their story, but having
Mhm.
somebody else tell it
Oh,
without
absolutely.
is always a little bit of and listen, that is a tremendous film, and
Right.
Jerry's on it, and so you've got a lot of early key people on that film too. Horst Thatcher's on that thing,
Yeah.
Jerry,
Right. Right.
Billy J Kramer's on that thing, featured on that film, and it's funny we're talking about films today. We're not going to be talking about Red Square, but
Right.
in Beatles films and Beatles lore, the complete Beatles is just a tremendous film.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Marianne Faithfull's on there as well.
Yep.
So I mean, so yeah, I mean a lot of great people are in that, and I like Jerry's segment when he's on there talking about skiffle.
Yeah, and
I
playing the
mean it's really cool.
guitar. Really
Yeah, it's like,
explains it.
goodbye, Joe. We gotta
Gotta
go. Oh
go.
me, oh
Yeah,
my.
yeah. That's it. And
Yeah.
that really probably educated a lot of people about that,
Yeah, I
about what
had
that
no clue
was.
what the hell skiffle was. I mean, I at that time, I mean, all I cared about was the music of the Beatles. So, I mean, he really filled a little bit of a void then, for me learning about the Beatles and what they were listening to, prior and playing actually really prior to becoming, what eventually became.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
much missed. Rest in peace, Jerry.
Yeah, yeah. Here's to you. I'll tell you what. I know there's a lot of people that love, how do you do it, and was it You'll Never Walk Alone. My personal favorite was Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying.
Great
That
one.
was yeah, that was my favorite. And then obviously Ferry Across the Mersey, was a great one. But did you? And it was also redone. What at that? What 89, 90?
In '89, it was
Yeah.
redone again with Holly Johnson, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Paul and
Oh,
Jerry, and a few
yeah,
other people that redid
yeah.
it for the Hillsborough disaster,
Right.
which was obviously a very famous, a horrible, horrible accident of a crush of people
Mm,
at Hillsborough between Liverpool and Hillsborough in '89, and Paul, and
yeah.
Jerry and others contributed. They did a really, really great version, which raised a lot of money for charity for the
Mhm.
96 people that passed away.
I think it went to number one
I
in the
think, I think,
UK.
I
Yeah,
think it did, and Jerry's on that recording as well as
yeah,
with Paul, which is
yeah,
nice having that
yeah.
two of them on a record.
Do you have it?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh
12
yeah,
inch. I have a 12-inch
yeah.
copy
Oh,
of
you do?
it.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right, gotcha.
which I
Cool.
bought
Very
while I
cool.
was over there, and that's a great version of that song. I mean, the original ones too.
Yeah.
Other favorites of theirs is a song called "I Like It." That's a
Mm,
good one. "Pretend," and just a fixture of the Mersey beat scene. So
right. Right. Cool.
yeah, much
Awesome.
missed. And Paul had a great little tribute to him on his pages.
Yes, that's true. That's true. In other news, we also got the three lyric videos for the last three songs from McCartney 3. So we got "Deep Feeling," "Seize the Day," and that was I would say like a week and a half ago, and then now we just got "Slide" in a couple
Yesterday,
days
a couple
ago.
days ago,
A couple
yeah.
days ago, yeah. So thanks to Tom Brennan for making me aware of that because
Same, yep.
yeah, because I would just been so busy I haven't had a chance to go to McCartney YouTube channel lately, but thanks again for bringing that to our attention. So I think that about does it for the news. Today's show, as Andy said earlier, we're going to be talking about we're going to revisit the Paul McCartney and Red Square DVD. This was a DVD that was released in 2005, and it pretty much just chronicled McCartney's two stops in Russia in 2003 and in 2004. So this was released June 14th of 2005, and again it records the show of the Moscow show that was recorded that took place on May 24th of
Third,
2003.
2003, yeah.
Right, you're right. And then in St. Petersburg of June 20th of 2004. So yeah, I mean, I remember getting this right away.
Yep,
Pretty
same.
much probably the same weekend it came out.
It was
I
on
went
TV
to.
first. I remember seeing it as a TV
Did you
special
see it as it
first.
was it? Yeah, was it A&E or History? Do you
A&E,
remember A&E? Okay,
A&E.
got you, got you. So and then yeah, I don't recall seeing it on TV at the time. I was living in Chicago, I know, and didn't have cable really. I was living in a box. I was poor. But anyways, no, just kidding. But yeah, I mean, so I watched it and pretty much forgot about it. It was pretty much a dust collector
Well,
for
yeah. Well, we're
unfortunately.
gonna talk about that, and
Yeah,
a
right,
lot of these, unfortunately, Paul's films become dust collectors, concert films, because well, why we're gonna get into it, but
right,
historical stuff aside, which is great.
right.
It's just it's a very it's a film that's all over the place,
Right.
and
So do you remember I mean, have you watched it since you bought it? Do you recall?
I watched it just in preparation for this episode to record with you.
But not since you
No,
got it. Right. Okay.
no. It's
Right.
sat on the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah, because I
Well,
asked a couple, I asked the question on our Facebook page,
and what would
when
they say?
was.
What would the what would they
Well,
say?
a lot of them said, since it came out, I think one person replied like 2 years ago, so it was really interesting to see, people, say when the last time. Like I said, most of them said it was, when
Then
it first came out.
right. That's like like I said, like the gold standard is rock
Right.
show, right? And
Oh, absolutely.
if they
Right.
could all be like rock show, well,
Right.
you know, back in the U.S., the space within
Yeah.
us, this if they could
Right.
all be like rock show, we wouldn't be talking about it because
Right.
that's that's a concert film.
Yeah, exactly.
That
This.
that is a
Yeah.
concert film. This is not.
Right.
This
So.
is history, concert,
Right.
fandom,
Right.
everything involved in this thing. It's just
Yeah, it's a very busy DVD, just like that
oh
In the World Tonight DVD
no,
was.
space within us.
Well, no, the one that what was the one that was in Flaming Pie? That was The World Tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that was just a documentary.
Yeah, documentary, but it was a very busy one. I mean, there was a lot going on. I mean, you had Paul just doing multiple things,
Yeah. Like the
and
videos,
right, exactly.
the
Yeah.
animated stuff,
That's
and
what I'm saying. So there's a lot of kind of like that stuff too. I mean, just his experience
although I don't find
of
it to be as busy as these
okay.
concert films, though. Personally,
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But what I took away is really a lot of these, a lot of the Russian people, what their experience, in the '60s, what they had to deal with.
no,
It's the
that
Beatles.
was fascinating. That was
Yeah,
for a history perspective. It's great, and it's like you almost wish that like it should be three films. Like make a film
right.
on Beatles
Yes,
fandom for
right.
people in
In
Russia in the
Russia,
'60s.
right,
Make that a film,
right.
or a separate or a bonus feature.
Hmm.
Have the concert proper, and then maybe have a bonus section of Paul's experiences. But we don't get that. It's
No,
all three elements sandwiched
rolled
into
in
one
one.
film, and
Exactly.
it's too
Right.
much.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I mean, because you look at it, you hear the people, you hear the story of what Russians were going through, where the Beatles music was considered alien
Yeah,
propaganda. It
Western,
was
sure.
freedom, it was capitalism, it was everything communism was against.
Yeah.
So obviously that stuff was banned. Really interesting insights of what they had to go through. You had some Russian musicians, you had some historians on there talking about it. They were talking about how if you bought a Beatles bootleg, let's say you had a monthly wage of like 150
Oh,
rubles.
that was fascinating. And
It wasn't it? Well, it
one
was
record cost
half,
was half. If a
half
guy made 150 rubles a
rubles,
month,
right?
an album cost about 75 or 80,
Right,
something
rubles,
like that, rubles.
right?
Which is but he said people bought the
Yeah,
records, and
exactly,
that is when you think about how we are taking we just take it for granted. We buy a record for 10 20
exactly,
dollars and we get it.
right.
The struggle to get the music,
Mhm.
I'm going to be honest here, I actually enjoy watching the fandom part of this film and the Russian experience better than the concert.
Probably, yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I mean, there's
Because
more to learn. It was really interesting.
it was, I mean, and as far as you watching there, and like they were getting x-rays and they were taking
Yeah,
x-rays and cutting, and out of x-rays cutting records out of x-rays
right.
to get them
X-rays.
brought into the country.
Right.
That was just fascinating. I mean, throughout the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I mean,
Um,
if you're a DJ and you played a Beatles song, you could get fired.
like
I
the
mean,
guy said in the film, if you
yeah,
went to a show
show,
and Beatles music
yeah,
was being played,
yeah,
you could get arrested.
exactly. There's consequences, from listening to, rock and roll general, but Beatles as well.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable to think about it. In those
Well, and then my
terms.
other favorite part was gentleman holding up the Band on the Run album, the
Yes,
first official McCartney release
and
in
it's
in Russia, and Band on the Run, the song
it,
itself was not on, was
no
taken off.
was taken off because they thought of the subject matter
So
was too.
right, right, prison and on the run,
So they took
escaping,
that off. But did you see
right.
what they replaced it with on the cover?
No, what was it?
If you look at the cover, if you paused it, because I did see that we are watching it.
Okay.
It took it off. The first song on the album of that
Mm.
is "Silly Love Songs." So he throws "Silly Love Songs" to replace "Band on the Run." The
Right.
first official. But then there was another guy that actually had held up a copy of like the first McCartney solo
Yeah.
album.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had some notes here, like on top of the record. You saw it did the record had the Ministry of Culture has sanctioned this record,
Right.
to be
Right.
released. It's unbelievable.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it was really cool seeing some Russian bootlegs of Beatle albums from them. I mean, all they had was pictures, really. They didn't know who Lennon was. They didn't know who McCartney
Oh, they
was.
knew who Lennon
You know,
was.
well, yeah, true. I was wondering if that was going to come up, but they definitely knew who Lennon was. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
No, I
but
think the whole Western musicians going to Russia. I mean, let's go back to as far as even with Paul himself putting out an album just for Russia with the Russian
yeah.
album.
Mm-hmm.
So Western music. Billy Joel famously went to Russia.
Yeah. Elton John.
Elton John did in '79. He played in Moscow. Billy went
Yes.
there in I think in '86, and Billy released a live album himself. So, it's obviously and it was a trend that Western musicians were going there. But it's funny, just the back of the notes here. The Beatles, Paul, George,
Yeah.
Paul, John, George, and Ringo have done more for the fall of communism than any other Western institution.
Right.
That was Trotsky, the author in this, the sociologist who's featured prominently in the
Right. Yeah,
documentary.
so I don't know. Yeah, that's another thing that I kind of was scuffled at too. Was you notice quite a few times when the historian or musicians are talking, they would say Paul McCartney and the Beatles. I mean, but you figure they're doing this because it's part of a Paul McCartney DVD. But I didn't really care for that too much. It's the Beatles.
It's the
Okay.
Beatles. Yeah, don't.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But he's coming there. He's playing.
Right.
One of the cooler aspects I enjoy of the film, aside from the busyness with the crowd shots and the cutting, was the panning shots when you'd see the crowd as a whole panning out over Red Square.
Absolutely. Right.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
And if the fact
See the
that
skyline.
that it's an outdoor gig.
Right.
You don't see too many Paul concerts get an official release that have an outdoor venue like that, outside, and the show starts, at dusk, and it's night. You can see the sun a little bit, and then it goes to nighttime. That's cool. I mean, the Good Evening New York City was also outside. I was there, but it's nice to see that, especially in Red Square, as Paul talks about, seeing all those buildings that he only ever saw in films.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Another thing too that was just really weird is how Paul McCartney is talking. He's coming to Russia, and then he just says again something that I just really I just didn't care for. He says he felt like he's coming home. You know what I mean? It's just really weird how he just felt like, because he had all of this experience or whatnot. This because he wrote you back in the USSR. He felt like he had this feeling of he was coming home when he dropped down and when he landed in Russia or Moscow or whatever it was that he landed. But it was just really weird for him to say something like that. He goes, "Oh, I don't understand it, but I just feel like I'm coming home." It's just really weird. I don't know if I really,
that's
care for that statement.
No, but that's Macca just playing to the audience.
Right.
And then there was a nice little scene there with David Frost where they were talking.
Oh yeah, they show him. Yep.
David Frost, and that the Beatles did land in Moscow temporarily in '66, but they didn't get off the plane or something like that.
Right. They could have done a real quick show and then hop back.
Well, listen, after the Philippines, all bets were off.
All bets were. Yeah, best to just stay on the plane, huh?
I mean, yeah, listen, after the Philippines, forget it. They weren't going
Yeah,
to take any chances, any hostile,
yeah, hostile environment.
hostile
Yeah,
territories. But
right, right.
Paul concert films have been they've been marred with this production that we're going to talk about, and just in terms
Right.
of like, is it just like, are we watching the songs, or are we watching a concert, or are we watching fans reacting to a concert, or
Right.
is it something else? And there's all that going on in this film.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
trying to be everything,
It is.
and it's not.
It's not. No. And then so let's now just talk about for a few minutes about what Paul was doing while he was in, also experiencing things, because it's just so much. I mean, he's let's see, where am I? I mean, he's meeting all these dignitary
All
people.
the
I mean,
yeah,
Mikhail Gorbachev,
Gorbachev,
Sergei Ivanov, the Russian
Putin.
defense. He's meeting Putin. I mean, he's there, and then you got the Heather factor right there. She's in there meet with Putin
Oh
too,
yeah,
talking about the landmines
no more
thing.
landmines,
No
baby.
more landmine. Remember when he was preaching those practices?
Oh yeah, preach, 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 baby.
Yeah.
I wonder if
So
he'd
and
wear any
then.
one of those shirts in concert again. Now. No.
And then there's also some nice touching moments too. He spends some time with the choir, these young musicians or choir
Yeah,
singers. I think they performed yesterday for him, which was really nice. Then he gets to spend time with some young musicians.
that was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. And
Then he
he
did.
gets a
Yeah.
honorary doctorate. So again, he visits the Hermitage Museum, visits children in an orphanage. He sets up new charity there.
Oh,
So again, there's just like
but it's
one
it's
thing after another.
everything that's in. It's again too much in this film. One a nice scene too is there. He meets a guy, I think, who's just a
Right.
fan, and you can see how much he's touched by his music, and he just gives him
Oh
a
yeah.
hug.
Yeah. He
You
was one of the
know,
speakers in the
in the
yeah,
documentary. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, when you realize the struggle that these people went to, and the
Yeah.
lengths and the risks that they took to hear this music, and now here's this
Hmm.
person coming to see them, that's pretty heartwarming.
Oh,
Again,
absolutely.
the concert aside, to see that part of it, but then again, it juxtaposed with everything else in the film. Now, okay, cut to Penny Lane.
Right.
It's like,
So
oh,
yeah, you're dealing with three things interweaving all at the same time. You're getting, and then when you go to the film, I'm sorry, not the film, but the actual concert. Some of these are, you're only getting a couple minutes of them. You're not getting the full song
no, they're
on
all, a
not on
lot of them
all
are
of them.
edited. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're getting edited. Like She's Leaving Home is edited. Like
Yeah, I think Getting Better was edited as
that was
well.
edited too. But so
Man on the
between
Run,
edited, so
Yeah.
between edited live songs, 30 cuts on the camera in between those songs, it's so visually distracting to
Mhm.
watch that. Like, either make it all the crowd, and that really kind of started with the Paul McCartney's Get Back film, really.
Right.
Chronicling the Flowers tour, where we're going to
Mm.
cut to everybody, going crazy to Live and Let Die, and
And some of those
dude,
cutting to the crowd in Russia was pretty interesting, because there's some times where they're just still watching. There's some other moments where they're just they're going crazy. Obviously you got the couples dancing, or you'll have the old guy tearing up.
right.
It's the standard stuff that you'll see in a lot of
And a lot of
McCartney.
McCartney concert,
Right.
these concert
Yeah.
films, and it's just
Right.
like, listen, you've got these tremendous again, for a more recent film, I mean, go watch The Concert for George. Go watch
Right.
that.
Yeah.
You're not seeing anybody. You're not seeing the directors cut to anybody at the
No.
Royal Albert Hall. Those
Exactly.
cameras are on the stage, and
And rightfully so.
rightfully. Now, listen, that was an
Yeah.
all-star event, but
Right.
this is not. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So it's a shortcoming of Paul's concert films. It just,
Mm.
and I love how they all of them have that tagline, a concert film.
Film.
Well,
Right.
is it? Is it?
Right. Right.
You know, uh, yeah. The only person in Red Square who wasn't moved was Lennon. Oh, okay. So it's a nice, it's a feel good thing. But if you're wanting to watch a concert,
Right.
this is not it.
That's not it. That's exactly that. That's definitely not it. Let's just talk about the band and Paul. I mean, Paul is still in somewhat decent voice. You can tell a little bit of decline happening in his voice in a couple tracks. You can really tell that the band really coming in with backing vocals, on a lot of songs, whereas there was no backing vocals originally, to kind of help or cover with
Mm.
Paul's, to vocals. So what did you think of Paul singing?
I thought this was, I didn't really kind of detect any really noticeable steep incline. I mean, I had seen him for the first time ever live a year before this in
Right.
2002. So, and to me, this is just an extension of the back in the US, back in the world tour, which is really what this
Right.
was,
Right.
which was of '02 and '03. This is just towards the back end of the '03. So
Right.
obviously, this is still the first full tour for the band,
Hmm.
with Rusty and Abe, and you can already tell that the chemistry was already there between the band.
Oh, absolutely.
It
Right.
just, and they were only together for a few years only by this point. I mean, it's over 20 years now, but or it's 20 years this year actually.
Right.
But it's incredible. I mean, they're all great, and it's Abe doing his thing. But I thought the band was in fine shape. They always are.
Right.
Um, and again, just a great set list, and a rare inclusion of two of us in this show.
Right. Yeah. So set list was actually, I mean, very Beatle heavy.
Of
Very Beatle. I
course.
mean, this at this point in time, I think starting in 2002. Well, actually,
Mhm.
even with the Flowers in the Dirt tour, I mean, is really taking hold of that Beatles card, and just
You had
going
a couple
Beatles
more.
crazy.
You had a couple more Wings
Yeah.
songs in Flowers in the Dirt tripping
Right.
in this though.
Right. But man, I mean, you're looking at over 20 Beatles songs.
Yeah.
I mean, he did 38 songs. I mean, the last 7 songs alone were Beatles were Beatles songs. I'm looking at the full soundtrack right now.
Oh,
Or sorry, the
you're looking at the full
full
set list.
set list right now. And I mean he does back in the U.S.S.R. twice. Which was obviously pretty cool. I'm sure it was really cool for the. Was pretty cool for that night. Being where they were. And actually, in all reality, the last 9 songs were Beatles songs.
Yeah, one,
you
two,
know,
three. Yeah, yeah.
so
They really were, but of course they truncated it down for this release, and
right.
you know,
And I don't know what the pyrotex or whatever. I don't know what the law.
pyrotechnics,
Yeah,
pyrotechnics.
the law was for being outside in a show in Russia, but man, they were really lackluster. I mean, they weren't really as anywhere near as exciting
As when they
as
when
when
he's
I've
when
seen them here.
oh, short outside,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it that way, but
So, but
yeah, Beatle heavy set list, but you knew it was going to be. It was a Beatle coming to the play there, so I mean,
exactly. So, and that's when a lot of them, that's what a lot of them know. They want those Beatles
that's what they're.
songs,
That's what, and I understand that you're not going to get a heavy Paul show there. You're going to hear maybe I'm Amazed, which we do,
yeah.
Live and Let Die, and then on this commercial release, what do we get? We get maybe I'm Amazed.
You also got
Uh,
Calico
Calico
Skies,
Skies
right?
works in
Every
there
night,
every night. It's not too many, and of course, someone's knocking on the door, as it's credited.
yes, it's really funny. So yeah, if you open it up and you turn to the back, and for Let 'Em In, it's titled Someone's
It
Knocking
just
on the
says
Door.
someone's like,
Knocking on the
so
door. Right.
somebody didn't do a little quality control on this one.
Right, exactly. And then they Paul does the song Things We Said Today on the concert film. However, they got it listed as Every Little Thing here in the booklet. So yeah, a couple oops.
There's a Beatles song he hasn't done live yet.
Exactly.
He hasn't done every little thing.
No, there's a
He's
couple.
done most, but he hasn't done that one.
Has he done All You Need Is Love live?
He did it at the party at the Palace in 2002 for the Queen's
Okay.
75th Jubilee.
Yeah, because I'm surprised he hasn't taken that on a tour. As a little tribute to.
Have you seen him do it?
John.
Have you seen him do it at the
No,
Palace?
if they televised that, I might have.
He did. Well, it's kind of like everybody. It's him.
Yeah.
It's Ozzy Osbourne, Brian Wilson on stage. Everybody doing it, but he is taking the lead and he is singing John's parts, which is pretty cool. It is the Jubilee. Was it 50 or 75? I can't remember now. The Queen's Jubilee in 2002. That would have been 50 years. So 50
Okay.
years. Not 75. That's
Yeah.
because 52. And I only know this because I'm watching The Crown, people.
Right.
I'm watching the Crown right now, so I know. Yeah, so it would have been the Jubilee, but yeah, Paul does a good version of All You Need Is Love. When it closes that
Okay.
show. But
Very
you would
cool.
think he would have done a little more of that. Good point.
Right, right, right. So I'm guessing when you're watching it and you see, Paul, meeting all the distinguished people
The
like Gorbachev,
dignitaries,
yeah. But then, when I'm thinking that this is both of the trips were filmed and put on here. The one from St. Petersburg and
Petersburg
one and Russia. So both experiences, both trips were also meshed into this to this set as
film.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this
Oh,
film as well.
yeah, absolutely. I would think
Because I
so.
mean, it didn't come out till 2005, so both
5
of them were already,
done, and by that point,
filmed.
he was already on the
Yeah,
precipice of another new tour and an album and
right.
everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Uh,
was really curious because I was hoping to get somebody that was involved with this on the show. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I mean, this is a lot of questions. Like, at one point, did they know after these two shows that they were going to make,
or did
this
they
this
know this going
documentary,
into it that they were
or
going to? This was
exactly
always going to be something that they were going to do. I got to
right?
think that a show in Moss first time that had to be a
Oh, you knew
pre-planned,
that was going to be documented. Absolutely.
right? And was there going to be plans to release? And I'm sure that was always going to be in the pipeline. But
Right.
really, some of the better parts of the film was like him just riding his bike, saying hello to people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and he's
Getting
like,
in
"Oh,
trouble. I guess he
yeah,
didn't know that some of the parts of Red Scare you're not supposed to cycle in.
yeah. Oh, the bicycle police are after me
Right.
now." You
Right.
know, so those kind of little innocent parts of the film are enjoyable. From
Right.
that and the historical context of the, seeing
Hmm.
the Russian fans' perspective
Right. Yeah. And then
is
then you hear him talking about, Putin, talk about how popular he was. They talk about how, he comes in during while Paul's doing Calico Skies. And I don't know how I feel about, whatever. I'm sure he was a really popular person at first. I don't know how if he's still popular now, but I'm just curious if Paul feels the same way about him now as he did,
back then.
back then. Yeah.
Pretty cool. And like I think he's talking to Gorbachev, and there's a translator there.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
when he
Yeah.
gives him the book, and
Book.
he's like,
Yeah.
it's the first time I've been here. And then he waits, and then the person
Right.
translates and says
Yeah.
it to him. It's
Yeah.
got to be painfully awkward. Just like you're standing there smiling. What did he say? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a pro at those kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah. He is. He is.
So, but yeah, I mean, all in all, I don't think it's terrible. But those quick cuts, I mean, those just really just
No consist. And that's, you
yeah.
want to know why it sat on my shelf for the last 12 years? That's why. Until my
Because
co-part,
it's
until my
like
co-host said, "Oh, we want
yeah.
to review Red Square." I'm like, "Oh, better dust this thing off."
But it's just like quick. You're talking like 2 second quick. 2 seconds here, 2 seconds here. I mean, it's just bam, bam, bam. Like you've got like 6, 7 cameras, and you're just cutting back and forth with
Too
all
much.
6 of them. And it's tiring. You get dizzy just watching.
It does, and it's a less is more.
Yes.
Less. If there's a lesson to be made here, young filmmakers of America, of which I know
Right.
many, less is more.
Now I don't mind cuts to the
No,
crowd from to the crowd
in
if it's done.
but don't. I wouldn't do it.
further.
Don't do it during the song.
Right. Yeah, do it in between. I
Like
don't mind I don't mind the quick shot of the hot girl singing for 2 seconds, seeing her sing, a lyric to what Paul's singing. Like, if he's singing My Love or whatever, and
or my
you get
loving or
yeah, or My
something.
Love, and you get the cute girl singing along with it for 2 seconds, that's fine. But
But
then
then banned, and
yeah,
then shot to an
exactly.
old guy crying.
Right.
Banned. Shot to some young girl going crazy.
Some 3-year-old knows all the lyrics to the song. It's just, whatever.
Which is
But
cool, but it's
further and farther between. It doesn't
yes.
need to be so
Or like
rapid.
or and again, his live releases, whether it's albums or films, are really devoid of any of the in between banter with the songs.
Hmm.
And that would really be if you're watching a proper film. Like again, I'm going to reference Rock Show.
Right.
When the musicians are changing guitars or they're tuning up for the next song,
Right.
give me a pan of the crowd, give me a close up of a couple of people. But he's not singing, so they're not going to do that. No, they want to
Right.
catch the people going gaga. I
Right.
get it. For this moment in time to show the Russian people celebrating that, this is the one release where I would be okay with that because of the historical aspect of it.
Right.
You
Right.
know, Paul's live, Get Back, Space Within Us, back in the US, none of those cuts are necessary.
Mm. Ah, I tend to agree with you.
You know,
Absolutely.
uh,
Yeah. So, one of the bonus features on the DVD set then is part of the St. Petersburg
sure.
show. So you get so then again now you get this, and it's about probably 40 minutes or so, maybe an hour, and again you get this little bit 10-minute intro of Paul arriving and whatnot, and then it goes into the show, and then it's actually then now it's just a show. It's really not.
It's not a
It's
right.
not like another documentary inside of a concert film. You know what I'm saying? So all of that is like at the beginning, and then once the show gets started, and then so it's an edited down version of the St. Petersburg show. Now the one cool thing about this is the fact that he does I've Got a Feeling,
Yeah,
which was definitely a highlight for me. Just like
sure.
Two of Us was a highlight for the Red Square. You
Yeah,
know, you
and
know,
yeah, and then of course Flaming Pie comes out, and these are
yep.
songs that really hadn't gotten too many airings before. I want to say too, Helter Skelter being played might have been the first time he played it live.
Mm,
I would have to look
perhaps.
back at the live database
Yeah.
because that really Helter Skelter. This might have been the first time he dusted it off to play it. I don't know
Mm,
because I don't recall it being a regular song in the O2 back in the US tour. So maybe
okay.
Helter Skelter. That's pretty significant. I mean, it's a staple now.
Right.
Although it's so different now, coming down fast. No, 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 no.
Right. Right.
They can't do it like 1968. Come on.
So then you also get this it's a little featurette which is kind of like a timeline of Russia and the Beatles throughout the 60s, which was also kind of interesting. I think that was done by the History Channel. So that's included on there. And
Oh, you
so
know
yeah.
what, Tom? You're right. It might have been a History Channel thing because I mean it says A&E Film, but you got
Right.
the History Channel logo on here, so they probably were. I don't know if the
So,
A&E owns the History Channel
yeah, so
now,
I don't
but
know if A&E distributed on DVD and it was a part of History Channel. I just don't remember,
no.
and I can't find any information on that either.
But probably was the History Channel did have that part of it to do the
Mm,
timeline and stuff and make that, but and maybe
right,
A&E was the distributor, maybe.
right, but I mean, but it makes sense. I mean, A&E, is into that kind of stuff, and then obviously History Channel is, the History Channel being the History Channel, you would also expect, this being on that as well,
Yeah.
so.
Nice to see. Very interesting to see too in the credits too when you look under the music produced by David Kahn, who
Right.
still was
So
involved,
music, yeah, the music was produced, or the music from the DVD was produced. I mean, from David Kahn. So yeah, absolutely. So he's still working with David Kahn after Driving Rain at
Yeah.
this point. So
And I've obviously paired back up with him again for Memory Almost Full.
absolutely, absolutely.
So that's that was it took the break in between, but yeah, DVD features the bonus concert Petersburg, Behind the Curtain, Memories from Red
Right.
Square, a featurette from the History Channel, Russia and the Beatles, a brief yearning song selection, and more. So your standard DVD, you probably can't even buy this anymore now, right?
Yeah, you're probably looking at, actually, to be honest with you, I had it originally. I got rid of it.
Did
I
you
got rid of it.
really?
Oh, I got rid of. I had to rebuy it.
Well, when you say got rid of it, what'd you do? Sell it? What'd you do?
I probably took it to a
Like a
record
record store and just
store and
traded
got
it in?
credit
Credit?
for it and bought something
So
else.
you're
You know what I'm
not you're
saying?
not like me. You don't buy and hold on to it for decades. You buy whatever the newest thing.
Some things I will. I mean, obviously, I've got things that I've had for decades, but again,
But
if
like you're like with the CDs though, like you don't keep
right,
old
exactly.
versions of the
Oh,
CDs.
yeah,
You
exactly.
just keep the most modern and that's it.
Like that 93 copy of Back
Back
to
to
the
the
Egg that I had last night when we were doing the rankings. As soon as the archive comes out, that's gone. That 93 is gone.
Why would you do that?
Well, why? If it's an inferior copy, why do I need it?
for history reasons,
You don't
for history. You want to know, like, that's
if the sound quality is inferior to the 93 version, I mean, I'll never play it again.
yeah, but it's,
You know what I mean?
you I understand that, and I'm gonna be honest. I got all
Right.
them over sitting there. I haven't
I
touched
I
them,
know you do.
but I think that there's, I don't know, history tying to those things. I mean, like keeping a collection, like, I don't know, but you
Yeah.
just like to get the best sounding product, and that's your
Exactly.
go-to.
That's
Okay,
my go-to.
I
Now,
I respect it.
yeah. So I mean, that's just yeah, that's just how I
But
am. I
so you had to rebuy this. Where did you get it?
yeah. Take a guess.
eBay.
Yes.
Shocker.
No, actually, no. My local Zia Records with so that's like my go-to record store.
Oh, they had it.
Okay. Yeah, they had it. So I called them up. I said, "Hey, you guys got a copy?" And I was just able to go there and pick it up. So and they
20
did.
bucks.
$5.99.
Oh, even better. See, now
Yeah,
something like this
exactly.
won't get this won't probably get Blu-ray treatment. We don't think.
No,
Probably not.
I don't think so. I mean, it would be cool. I mean, it was filmed on actual on film, so it wasn't filmed on video, I don't believe. So you can definitely transfer it to HD and put it on Blu-ray.
No, but
But why
yeah.
would you? You
No,
know,
why? But I got to give you credit. I'm glad that you came up with a topic to review this, because
right.
if you didn't, it
Yeah,
still would be sitting on that shelf in the
yeah,
other.
exactly.
So it gives me a reason to go. Like when months ago when we did the
Right.
McCartney years, and that one I grab a little more often
See,
because
now
it's,
that one I've had, I've always kept that because it's just more. It's
oh
just
well,
interesting.
that's a lot of the videos.
Right.
But I mean, a concert film, you don't grab it all the
Right.
time. You just
So
don't.
here's the thing: like, if you had, let's say, you had rock show on VHS or Laserdisc. Okay,
Yeah.
we know those. That's not the complete. That's not the complete show.
No.
So for me, if then rock show came out a couple years ago when Wings Over America archive
And
was
it got a
was
Blu-ray
released
release.
and it
Yeah.
got a Blu-ray release. Why would I hold on to that VHS and Laserdisc copy? You know what I mean? I mean, I would never play that again. Yeah, I understand your point. It's a historical, purposes, but for me, it's
Plus,
just
they become collector's items. I mean, people will want those things.
no. That is true. That is very true. I mean, you'll see some laser discs up there in price. Especially like the Criterion laser discs. I mean,
Sure,
those can
sure.
get demand a pretty penny. But even VHSs, some of them, you know,
Absolutely.
you know, are not. But I just look at it as something that's taking up space. That something new could
Good.
go. You
And
know what I mean?
I get that. Yeah, there's always multiple ways to skin a cat. And,
Exactly. Yeah.
so if you like, the fandom and the collecting aspect of it,
Yeah.
why
But
you
in a
did.
way, I'm glad I got it again because I completely forgot all of this. I completely forgot all about the Russian history.
Right.
What people went through. So I am kind of glad that
It
I've
is.
watched it and I watched
Yeah.
it twice actually,
Did
and
you?
yeah, and so now it'll go back on the shelf for
And if anybody
another
out there,
15 years.
right, if anybody out there hasn't seen it,
Yeah.
it's worth a one. If you got a Saturday afternoon and you want to throw
Yeah.
it in, it's good for a one-time watch, to
Right.
watch it. But it's not going to be something you're going to gravitate to and watch multiple times.
No, you'll learn something. You might get annoyed at a few bits and pieces,
Like,
but
I'm sure you and I, we both grabbed. We've grabbed. I'm sure you and I, Bruce McMouse or the bonus video from the Red Rose Speedway box set,
hmm
a hell of a lot more than we've touched.
oh, absolutely, yes,
And that's just a fact.
right. That is, yeah, absolutely.
But it would be interesting. We've gotten since this. We got an official. We got Good Evening. We got Good Evening New York City is alive, and I think is that his last
The
one.
space.
No, but the most recent one would have been.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
It
That
would
one,
have
yeah.
been. It would have been Good Evening New York City. Would have been the last live concert
No
film.
kisses. No kisses on the bottom.
Well, concert film,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
concert,
Gotcha.
but live. Yeah, live kisses.
Right. Love
In the
kisses.
studio, which I actually
Yeah.
just watched a few weeks ago, which is good too, which we're going to do on a future episode
Exactly.
coming up
Yes.
in a few weeks on
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I think, yeah, Space Within Us 205, Good Evening New York City, and then nothing really, I don't think, which is a shame because those tours of like 13 and 14 had some really, really great set lists. And you saw them then,
Mm,
and then I did
yeah,
too.
yeah, for new, yeah,
For new
absolutely.
some, and it's too bad we didn't
Yeah.
get any nothing live. And maybe given the situation now, if he's not going to tour anymore, let's hope that that doesn't happen. Maybe get that gives the MPL the impetus to issue a live recording of maybe one of his last tours, if that ends up being
Yeah,
the case.
yeah, I don't know if I see that happening at this point. If anything, I'm sure we'll get some past live recording. I don't see anything from the last 10 years
No,
live. No, I don't see anything from the last 10 years being released,
that's a shame.
live
Because
wise, concert wise,
because he really over the last 10 years has really varied it up, and
No,
that
but I just think there's just been so much. I really do think that Paul's team pay attention to what people say. In the last 10 years, what have we been saying, really? Uh,
archive.
well, no, his live voice is just shot for the most part.
Oh, so nobody wants to hear those live recordings over the last 10
I
years.
don't think people do. And if you
Okay.
do, let us know. And if you don't, let us know. But
But
I
you think
personally,
you think this was the start of it starting to go? His
yeah,
voice?
yeah, I do. I think I could notice during the Driving Rain album, his voice not
Yeah.
being, and understandably so.
Did you see him in 02 or 03?
No, 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 no. After 93, I didn't see him again until 14.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I saw him in 02, and
yeah.
I wasn't like, "Oh, his voice
No,
is
I
shot."
thought he was no. I've seen a lot of that I've seen a lot of that footage, and I think he sounds great actually on that tour.
Yeah, I think
You
he's
know,
fine. I don't think it starts to happen until, the last, I would say after 2009 or 10.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
because
because I say that because basically, if you listen to him do Calico Skies on this DVD, he's not singing it like he sings. It's not that true falsetto voice that he does on Flaming Pie. I mean, his voice is really weird the way he sings Calico Skies
when you,
on
you
on
watch
this DVD.
he's never performed it like that gentle, tender acoustic ballad that it is on Flaming Pie.
No,
And
because I don't know if he can do it.
I actually think that that's more of a little subconscious thing with him. I think he can't
Mm,
do it that way because it's such a tender on that
right.
Flaming Pie arrangement.
Right.
It's such an emotional song tied to Linda. He actually
Right.
probably can't, so he actually spice it up with the drums and
Right.
you got Wixed on the
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 accordion.
accordion. So
Right.
he makes it a
I
little,
can.
you know,
Yeah, I can understand him doing that song in Russia because of the last verse of, all the weapons of war we
yeah,
despise. That part makes sense to me of him doing it in Russia. But
sure.
if you can't sing it the way,
You
yeah,
wrote
exactly.
did it,
You're
then why
right.
do it? Yeah,
Exactly.
very true, very true. But very,
Yeah.
very Beatle heavy. But we knew it was going to be to do that for the Russian people that were there watching
Yeah,
it.
very true. Yeah.
So but again, it's this is just capturing McCartney really at the kind of at the beginning of his kind of later half of his live touring career. He
Mm,
really, because he's been so prolific over the last 20 years. So this is a nice capsule in time looking at, okay, he comes back, hits the road ground running in April of 2002. And here's this show from May of 2003.
right.
So it really is kind of capturing McCartney at that point in time of, okay, he's touring for the first time, really big time, and he goes to Russia and does a show, So,
Mm.
you get it's a mixed bag. But I'm happy that I revisited it for
No,
sure.
absolutely, absolutely. And we're gonna revisit. We'll probably end up revisiting all of these
Yeah.
DVDs.
Yep.
Throughout the years to come. So, dust them off, people. Let's let's give them another view.
Yeah. Dust them off, get them ready.
Right. Yeah.
Get them ready. But it's a good reason. It's good exercise to do and to check these things out. I mean,
Yeah.
while we're still living in this,
Yeah.
COVID madness, watch,
Exactly. I
throw a
mean,
film on and check it out. And Tom is like the master film person. He's a
yeah.
film buff of like the highest quality there.
Right.
Him and
So,
his Criterion collection.
yeah. Yeah.
I only
Yeah.
own one Criterion. You want to guess which
What?
one it is?
Hard Day's Night.
Yeah. I am going to pick your brain on which ones you think which ones are worth getting, though, because
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. How do you feel about foreign films?
like foreign, like in like another language, foreign films, or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
nah.
yeah.
I haven't really
Have you
given.
ever watched a foreign film?
Yes,
Okay. Do you
yes, I
recall?
have.
Do you remember what it was?
A Japanese one in college, I think.
Okay.
Uh,
So Seven Samurai.
no,
um.
from like the 40s or something.
Okay.
Yojimbo or something like that.
Yojimbo. Yeah, yeah. Akira
Yojimbo.
Kurosawa. Yeah, Akira
That.
Kurosawa.
Yeah.
Toshiro Mifune. Yes,
Yes.
great stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You like
Just
those?
oh yeah, those two were the Scorsese De Niro of the 40s and 50s. Really.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Akira Kurosawa and Toshiro Mifune. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad.
Mifune. Yeah.
I'm glad I
Yeah.
asked. I'm
Yeah.
glad I asked.
Yeah, Yojimbo's excellent. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's just I know a lot of people I know we're off topic here, but I know some people just
Well,
think that it's
we've
like a
covered it. We've
chore.
covered we've
It's a
covered Red
chore
Screen.
because you're actually reading, you're reading instead of just watching.
Yeah.
So I know some people don't really care for that so much, but
No, but listen, listen, it's still out there. There's plenty of physical media still available. I know we're in a streaming world now, but
yeah,
when if the internet goes ever dark and you can't
yeah.
connect to stream anything, you've got
You got
lovely
to get
physical
that.
media.
And then going back to the DVD, I mean that's how a lot of Russians learned English was through Beatles
Through
songs,
Beatles songs. Yeah,
you know?
it's amazing. You can they can learn English through that, and then just
Right.
you
And
know
then here we are, we're just don't even care. you
no
know?
no they don't care at all.
Right. Us ugly Americans. Yes.
Oh yeah, Yanks.
Yeah. Thanks. Yes. Anyways, so great. Okay, so this was a cool look back. I mean, what would would you grade this with anything, or what would you think?
But the historical, listen, the film made the camera work aside, which is so
Yeah.
just tough to get through. I would grade this thing probably I would give this one a B plus.
Okay. Okay.
You?
Yeah, probably in that area. Maybe a B
Maybe
minus.
B
Yeah.
minus,
Yeah.
maybe B minus, just because there's so many other elements in it, and it should just be one
Right.
or the other,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I could. Yeah. Yeah. Give me a half hour with the Russians. Give me a half hour of what Paul was doing, and
and
his
then give me
spending his time, and then
and
give
then
me
give
the
me the show.
then give me
Give
the
me the
show.
show. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I would probably lean actually more thinking about it. I'll agree with you. Go with a B
Right.
minus. But for the historical aspect of the film alone, it
Right.
should be watched by all McCartney fans just to see it if you haven't
Mm-hmm.
seen it, just to see those Russian fans like their face
Yeah. The
beam up.
faces light up. Yeah.
That's worth every part of it. It really is. And that's
Mm-hmm.
I like I said, I enjoy that part of the film more than the music. I really do.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I know the music.
Right. We know
We
the
know the
set list.
music, right?
We know the set list. We know that
Right.
we know the banter in between the songs. We know all that
Right.
crap.
Mm,
But seeing it from a humanistic aspect,
yeah.
and seeing people and like I said, the great lengths and risks that they did to listen to this music to get it.
Right.
And then here's this guy coming to their doorstep, 30 years later. It's
Right.
incredible.
Very true, my friend. Very true. All right, cool. Well, that was our look at Paul McCartney in Red Square, the DVD. I definitely say if you haven't watched it in a while, go ahead, pull this sucker out, throw it in the DVD player or the Blu-ray player, whatever you got, and just give it another watch. Let us
Yeah,
know what you think.
yeah. Well, if you have it, seek it
Yeah.
out, check it out. If you've seen it, let us know what you think about it
Yeah.
on our lovely channel, which Tom will
Mm.
tell you about.
Yeah, so yeah, check out our YouTube channel. We're really trying to get that get more subscribers on our YouTube channel. It's going good lately. So it's Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast. Please check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to continue. I can't speak. We're going to continue
Yes, you
doing our
can.
yeah. We're going to continue doing our ranking the tracks every Wednesday. You know, usually 9 p.m.
Sorry,
However, yeah, unfortunately, the last one we had to wait a little bit, but that's understandable. It's going to happen from
but we
time to
listen. We
time.
had, but we did a 10:30 start, and we still
Yeah,
had our usuals all popping in there. So
Yeah, that
thank
was,
you.
yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. So for all of you guys that are checking in on us and leaving your comments, we really appreciate it. We try to get to as many as we can, and we're having a lot of fun with this. I love seeing everybody's rankings for these
It's
albums.
yeah, the ones that agree with us, the ones that disagree with us, we
Yeah,
we dig it.
yeah,
It has been such a great side venture, excuse me, to
right,
do and tackle. And then Tom came up with this a few months ago, and
right,
it's really kind of caught fire, and we
yeah,
really enjoy it. We had a couple issues there for a few weeks. We couldn't do it on YouTube. That's
right.
been resolved, and Tom will always kind of post when we're going to do it, and it's on
Mm,
YouTube, and we're going to go through the whole canon, the main canon, as we finish it. And I mean, already we finished the '70s albums. We're done.
yeah. Well, we finished the '70s. Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna rank all of the non-album A sides and B sides. All the
And
songs that weren't.
that'll be a longer
Yeah.
episode because we've got 20 something tracks to get through.
22 tracks, I believe it was. Yeah, absolutely. So,
That'll be very interesting. We were very different with Back to the Egg. We were very different with
yes,
London Town.
London Town, right?
We'll be very different with this one too.
Yeah. So yeah,
Although
just a quick.
I think we're gonna have the
Got
same
it done
number.
right there.
I think we're gonna
Yeah.
have the same number one. I think we are. I do. I think we will.
Okay.
I think we should. I think.
I don't know. I kind of hope we don't.
I do too, but we might. We'll see.
Right. Well,
We've
I
been
it's
close. We've been close. Like last night, it was
yeah.
reversed. It was
It was
reversed.
reversed. Yeah, 1 and 2 were reversed. So that was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah. Yeah. So check that out, please. We really appreciate it. For everybody listening to our audio shows, if you're listening to iTunes, please give us a review. If you like the show, give us a 5-star review. That will help out the show. Email us at twolegspodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Two Legs Podcast. And website twolegspodcast .com. Yeah, .com. That simple. Just that simple. Twolegspodcast.com. Andy put together for us a few months ago. It looks great, and you'll find a lot of our tweets there. You'll find all of our latest episodes there.
Links to all of our stuff.
Yeah, link you right to
It's nothing crazy. I don't do web design that much. Thank you very much to Ethan, who helps us out with the layout and a little bit on there. But it's if you want our audio versions on there, our video versions, our links are on YouTube, and the Twitter feeds on there, and all of our contact info and the site. It's nothing crazy, but it's just a site where you can kind of reach us if you want to look to a website too.
Yeah, I want to give a couple shout outs real quick here before we sign off, and let me find them. I want to give a shout out to my friend John Bazzini. He does the Beatles in Print Together and Solo Facebook page. If you're a fan of Beatle books and solo Beatles books, head over to his Facebook page and please like the page. You're gonna get updated on all these new books. He's gonna whip out old books that you probably never seen before. He's gonna whip out books that you probably completely forgot about. So he does a lot of really cool things on that page. So check that out. That's called Beatles in Print Together and Solo. And I want to also give a shout to my boy Harry Benson over at the Paul McCartney and Wings fan appreciation group. Both of these pages, they allow me to post these episodes to promote them on their pages, so they don't have to do that. So it's really nice of them.
Thank you guys.
To let us do that. So
thank you seriously.
I want to show them some appreciation and say thanks to you guys. So please check out those pages. That's Beatles in Print Together and Solo, and Beatles and Wings fan appreciation group. So check those out and like them. So Andy, anything you want to add before we sign out of here, my friend?
Not much. Just thanks for everybody for watching and continue to support us and hopping on when we do our lives. And we're going to keep doing those lives. And even when we finish the main albums, we'll do other live stuff. So we're
going to continue the live thing.
We the YouTube growth has been great. We've been up for over a year now, and we're at 425, I think, subscribers.
419, I think.
Something like that. So thank you, and we're on our way. And again, the thumbnails are great. So that's Ethan Alexanian, who is just a great talent and a great friend to us. And he is just so talented with those thumbnails, and he really makes the episodes pop. So thank you, Ethan.
Great. Okay, so that's a wrap for this week. Stay tuned next week. We're gonna have our buddy Joe Mayo on the show, and we're gonna talk about collecting McCartney 3. So stay tuned for that. So everybody, once again out there, have a great day and a beautiful night. Take care.
Bye.